I got to get a big drink of water. I don't know about you, but these last few days, when the heat indices gets up there, the humidity and the combination of humidity and heat, I find myself almost, you know, thriving, or I should say thirsting, not thriving. I'm not thriving, but thirsting on a continuous basis. So if you see me grabbing for my bottle today, it's because I'm still feeling the effects of my days, the past 2 days, I should say, out working in the heat. Hey, once again, here we are, Thursday, the DPB show. We're ready to go. Yes, you saw the title correctly. The cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. We want to cover that. Is your pastor preparing you for today? You know, that's a big question. I think about that a lot. Actually, I think about it almost every day. Are we going to places where we are truly building ourselves towards what will happen day in, day out going forward? Want to talk about that? Obviously, there's so much more to talk about. Keeping with the theme of things of more in 2024, so much more. But with that, obviously, no better way to launch into things of more in 2024 than there he is right there,
Howdy, howdy.
the guy that comes alongside me almost every episode of the DPB show. That is Ryan McKenzie of the Ryan Mack Show. Ryan was asking me because my beautiful wife, Tanya, put up a picture that I had sent to her thinking that that was between her and I, but you know, she knows well enough that she can share things like that. But it's me. You can go out to Tanya Blumenshine's Facebook page. I might even put it up on the DPB show page later. I just haven't had a chance to put up the pictures from both Springfield, Illinois and Peoria, Illinois, where I've spent the last couple days in the heat working. And anyhow, the picture is the cicadas. The cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. The only thing, though, that we have kind of noticed here in my hometown and my home county is we haven't seen much cicada action here in McLean County. So if you're out there and you're listening to the DPB show and you've got a sighting of cicadas in and around the Bloomington Normal area, please let us know. Get a picture. Even you might even want to try tasting one. I hear they're actually delicious. Ryan asked me if I actually ate that cicada, and no, I did not. I did that intentionally for my wife, who is just so into what is transpiring with the cicadas. I couldn't help it because I was in the cicada. Oh, there she is.
Yep.
She's already on board.
There's a Facebook group dedicated to it. She's a part of it.
Yeah, I think she wants to escape. But yeah, go out to my wife's page. I've shared some photos. It is amazing. It truly, I mean, I can't imagine what a plague would have been like back in the times of Pharaoh in the Old Testament in Egypt, when Moses, you know, obviously through the power of God, brought down the plagues on Egypt. And it kind of was eerie to remind me, as I tell you many times, I try to envision myself of being physically in those time periods and wondering what it's like. And yesterday I kind of got a slight glimpse. I don't know what it's going to look like in the next few weeks, especially here in our own county. But yeah, Ryan, the cicadas are coming.
Oh man, I enjoyed the ones in the past. I leave them alone. I listen to them at night when they start croaking. But these are another breed. I mean, you got two different species coming at us for the first time in over a couple hundred years that they've come out together.
Yeah, I just saw
It's kind
that.
of one of those once in a lifetime things that we've been experiencing. You know, the other things that we've seen in once in a lifetime. You know, the pandemic and the Northern Light scene that was extended across the entire globe. And now you got cicadas that are, meeting up. It really kind of begs the question, what's coming next?
Well, and are they just, I just thought of this. I'm going to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Is this a way of enticing the bird flu to be spread by launching the cicadas? I mean, you can't help but think of things like this.
Yeah.
Because cicadas, obviously birds are attracted to eating and feasting on the cicadas. My wife and I always kind of chuckle about her middle son has 13 chickens and has a place where he lives with at least 50 trees.
Mm.
And those cicadas are going to be there, but will they be there? Will they necessarily
Yeah.
enter the realm of the chicken? The
No,
chicken have a feast day.
yeah. I saw a headline the other day. I couldn't believe, I don't know where it was, probably Washington Times or New York Times, but it was bird flu transferring from cows to humans. And I couldn't believe it wasn't something from Babylon Bee, but it was a legit headline from one of the major lefty newspapers. They're just one of those op-ed articles. Bird flu coming from cows to humans. You can't make this up.
Okay, my wife stole my tinfoil hat. She said that these cicadas were coming 17 to 13 years ago. See, I
Mm.
told you she's very versed in the cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. So obviously this was planned out a long time ago. But then again, what isn't planned out in today's world that we live in? Everything seems to be planned out. There is
Yep.
some foreknowledge that things like this, plagues. I wonder. Dusty Joe says her 9 cats will eat them too. Um, I wonder if plagues have been foretold. As we always kind of bring up around here on the DPB show that there's nothing new under the sun. So
Yep.
obviously we should have anticipated that something like this would happen, as terrible as it is. And it is creepy and it does freak you out. But, at the same time, no, you had asked, Ryan, what was it like? Because I've been on the ground in Springfield, Illinois,
Mhm.
and Peoria. They're flying all throughout the air. And of
Mm.
course, it's very wooded because both Springfield, in the area that I was at near Springfield Lake, and Peoria, which is near the Peoria River Valley or Illinois River Valley, and the bluffs, and plenty of trees, plenty of bodies of waters and other lakes around the Peoria County area. Yeah, they're just buzzing all around. You look up in the air, and then you had asked, are they noisy? And they're not as noisy, even though they outnumber the common cicada that you mentioned that we're
Yeah.
used to.
Mhm.
No, they make almost about a fifth of the noise, maybe a tenth of the noise that those big honking green ones make.
Mhm.
And now I have a better appreciation for our own cicadas,
Yeah.
because these little guys, they still look like the cicada, but they're much smaller. They're about a fifth of the size of a normal cicada, what we've come accustomed to. And yes, it's more of a buzzing hum sound. Still the traditional uh, sound of a cicada, but just obviously, if you can imagine, now there's a gazillion of them out there, and they're all making the noise. So
Mm.
it's fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing more about what's going on. Your beautiful wife says, "I'll tell you, if one of those things comes near me, you're all going to save my soul."
Yeah. I'll be sure to take a video of that one for you.
Please do, please do. I just went up and picked a bud. I mean, they were so plentiful, I could just pick them up the ground. They're everywhere.
Tyson's gonna put them in our food eventually, so we might as well just start eating them.
Well, and you know what? That's what I obviously said. It'd be interesting to see what delicatessens are going to come up with. Wonderful little dishes of
Yeah.
cicadas.
Yep.
All right, Ryan. Obviously, we could spend a lot of time talking about the bugs that now have invaded Illinois. That goes right along with JB Pritzker and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and everything else that happens here in Illinois. You had mentioned something, and I do want to make sure that we mention this about Joe Biden. Go ahead and let our audience know what we were kind of discussing.
Well, every video, every clip, I think Dan Bongino talks about it as sound bites, snapshots, and sound bites of the political campaigns. Right? Joe Biden couldn't help himself. Again, he came out this week. I don't know if you wanted to pull it up eventually, you could, but you guys can go out there and see it. He called Trump an erectionist again this week, speaking at another arrangement. I think it was in Atlanta at Morehead College or whatever it was. he was also very angry and very disturbed looking in his speech. Instead of being proud of the graduates, he was very angry and told them that they were just a bunch of nobody and they were victims. But he did call Trump an erectionist again, and Dan Bongino couldn't help himself and play a clip of every Democrat calling Trump an erectionist. So there you go, inciting erections again.
Inciting erections. I think I'm going to try inciting. I'm afraid that if you put that into a search, you might not want to see what you get.
Probably not.
But
let's see if I can pull it up on Twitter. Just keep going. Let's see
I'm going to. Well, it's funny because no, actually, I thought I'd get something differently, and it's not what you think, because it has Schumer and it even has Rep. Pramila Jayapal saying it too. You know, I might grab that real quick. But yeah, it's go ahead. Did you find it on
yeah, I think I found it. Let me see if I can. It's playing, but I'll pause it.
Joe Bateman in the meantime? Thanks, Joe, for joining us. Not good for gout. Joe, I don't know. You would know. If it's not good for gout, do not eat the cicadas.
Yep.
Even if you roast them like popcorn. Oh, look at that. You're able to share. Look at Ryan Mack. Now, do I have to go? Now, can you add that, or do I have to add that?
Did you get it? Can you see it?
Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it. I'm going to present that. I'm going to add it to the stage.
Yeah.
Here it is. Can you hit the volume?
Okay. We got the volume. I think we're good. All right. 5 seconds. It's just somebody shared it quick.
Okay.
Calls the erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill patriots. He calls the erectionists who stormed Capitol Hill patriots.
Yeah. Erectionists.
What is it about the Democrats and the inability to say insurrectionist? Come on, let's all practice. They call he's
insurrection.
An insurrectionist.
Erectionist.
I'm
somebody call Cialis.
No,
got an erectionist on the loose.
I gotta see if I can get this video up here. Because here you have another anti-Trumper doing the same thing, basically calling Representative, I don't know if it's the dismiss, get out of here, full screen. Hold on before we get too much into this. I want to make sure that I add her to the stage, and there she is. Okay. Let's go back, because I know she's going to lay it out for us. Here, this is only 31 seconds, so I want to make sure I get it from the beginning.
Well, I appreciate the passion from my friend across the aisle and the outrage. I think we're all outraged about many things. But if we're going to talk about outrageous things that have happened or things that have never happened, let's talk about the fact that President Trump incited an erection. And maybe that too.
Yeah, you can talk about that too, I guess.
Maybe we should talk about that too. The president.
I don't want to talk about that. No, I absolutely don't want to talk about that. I don't even have to go get Chuck Schumer. What is it about these Democrats?
Yeah,
are they intentionally doing this? I mean, we understand that they are the most over-sexualized group of people that has ever held power in DC for I don't know how long. I mean, yes, there's always been over-sexualization going on in Washington, D.C. But now these people just flaunt it in everything.
Ashley Biden incited an erectionist in the shower too one time long ago.
Yeah, with your dad. Yeah, now we have to relive it, which is really sad, because what are they? What drives these people? I mean, the fact that the president of the United States, Joe, just don't say anything.
Yeah,
don't say anything, because what you're trying to say, Joe, has already been found to be not the truth.
Yeah,
there wasn't an insurrection,
and nobody was charged with that charge, that crime.
No one. That's right. Yeah, there is no insurrection.
Yeah.
And for you to go around saying that he's inciting erections doesn't help the cause of even proving that there was an insurrection. So at some point they're gonna let it go. They're going to move beyond the craziness. I believe though this is all fodder because I just agree with them anymore. Anything they say, I just say, yeah, you're
They're not
right.
even hiding their beliefs. But we talked about it a while back. Do they actually believe what they're spewing to their base? I mean, their base is full of weirdos, but do they actually believe what they're saying? I mean,
Well,
they can't be this sick as an individual.
well, some young lady wanted to come on and mention something about Trump stating that the soldiers, the troops, were whatever. I mean, I can't even remember what it is because now I just don't even. It's just it's like the cicadas.
Yeah.
It's a constant humming noise
Yeah.
that you just don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
And basically repeating the old, like we showed on Tuesday, the Trump said that you should inject bleach, that there's good people on both sides, fine people
Yeah.
on both sides, and it's just the constant rhetoric of what they know. And ultimately, I do believe that it's intentional. And yes, I do believe they have to say these things because there are about 35% of people out there that still, no matter what,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what comes before them, what evidence, what proof, what receipts, they're going to be voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah, and it's not being endorsement for Biden. It's because it's not Trump. That's what it was in
That's right.
2020, and that's what it still is. Those who hate Trump will vote a dog catcher over Trump at this point. I mean, they would vote anything over Donald Trump.
Yeah. And you know what? It's sad, but once again, that's not who the fight's against.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I don't even know what the real number is in the United States. It sure isn't 81 million people voted for Biden and 74 million voted for Trump. If anything, I believe those numbers would be flipped. It was 81 million voting for Trump, and I don't know how many voting for Biden. It wasn't 74. I don't believe the numbers themselves were flipped.
Well,
I
look at
think
the other numbers that were, Obama got what
63.
800, well, yeah, 800 and some odd counties, and Trump matched that plus more, and Biden got half that. Couldn't even break half of those counties. He got 470 counties, and you're telling me he got 81 million votes
out of 470 counties. I know there's something like 3,600 counties across the United States, and that's my point.
Trump got 2,400 of them and got 18 out of the 18 bellwether counties, and you couldn't win.
No, and that's what I'm saying. We don't know what truly happened in 2020, nor do we really know what happened in 2016, because I truly believe the steal was in 2016. It's just they really weren't very good at it.
No,
they planned. There was no doubt in Hillary Clinton's mind that she was going to win until she didn't win. So, yes, this is why we continue to.
If you take case in point, the case out of New York, what Twinkies is trying to do to Trump with Cohen and Stormy Daniels, he's trying to make something that was already gone away of a non-story, and turn it into a 2016 election conspiracy twist that somehow he stole the election in 2016 because he was making illegal payments to a porn star for an affair, which no other federal prosecutor would take up at the time, and comes brag where he was forced to take it up. I mean, that they will throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at Trump in order to stop him.
Alvin Bragg, obviously, like every other Democrat operative out there, has one goal and one goal only, and that is to destroy Trump, which in essence will destroy the American way of life, because ultimately the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, yes, you heard it right. I'm not even backing down from that. Donald Trump is truly the president of the United States. He was not sworn in. I don't agree with people. The fact that a surrogate or somebody was put in his place in Joe Biden, which I don't even understand that, because Joe Biden by no means is has the ability to be the president of the United States. That's proven over and over again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the shuffling. But President Trump, that's why it's important that we all mobilize. We all fortify the counties. We all get involved in poll watching, election judging, no matter where you're at, what state you're in. In fact, Illinois is so corrupt, it still doesn't mean we don't at least call them out. As I said, it's really easy. Joe, Joe says dementia in chief, and he's right.
Yeah.
But I think it's, I agree. I think there's something wrong with Joe Biden. That is not questioned. Joe Biden isn't even holding enough meetings on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, to warrant declaring that he's the chief of anything.
Yeah.
And he sure isn't leading anything. In fact, if anything, he's not leading this disastrous economy that we are now all, part
the
of.
same people that were in charge in the Obama administration are in charge now because Joe's not in charge. That's who it's the ringleaders in the previous administration that are in charge now and pushing the buttons.
Well, and it goes to show you that they don't really need a figurehead. What they have in Biden is strictly, switch it or bait and switch, because they've got to put him out there sometimes, because they have to start letting people believe that he still is the president, or that he's the commander in chief.
You have to give the illusion.
And he's not. If anybody's the commander in chief, look who's commanding 100,000 people to show 80 to 100,000 people to show up at a rally. Look who is captivating the hearts of people while he is being persecuted and prosecuted in courtrooms.
91 counts.
Yes, Donald J. Trump. Once again, they know at the end of the day where they stand, which is really kind of leading into my next point, which I want to get to, and that's about are the pastors of today, are they preparing? Is your pastor preparing you for today and what lies ahead in the future? Because at the end of the day, all of this discussion about Joe Biden, I love when Bongino calls him Joe Bribin, Joe Bribin, Joe Biden, and anything else that is a distraction to what we believe and what we adhere to, because the church, God's church, is going to stand no matter what. We know what happens going forward. Why are we not hearing enough pastors in today's time resonating and resounding that message about the fact that it's important that we take care of our way of life, which is the Judeo-Christian constitutional republic that was founded many years ago. And once again, if that's not something you want, then, legislate to make it to be something different.
Right.
But stealing elections, rigging elections, prosecuting and persecuting your political opponents, undermining the entire system through the educational process, Hollywood, entertainment. We all know, I'm not going to play it out here on the DPB show, but the kicker from Kansas City, you see what happens when you attend a private event at a Benedictine college, a Catholic university, in the off season, to give a speech about what you believe as a person of faith practicing Catholicism, that suddenly you are a heretic. Now, wait a second. What is a heretic? Well, a heretic is somebody that goes against the church. This is how they flip everything upside down.
Yeah.
A heretic to them is anybody that doesn't walk the fine line of the ideology of wokeism, of indoctrination of children, of pedophilia, of open borders, blah, 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 and the list goes on. You're a heretic if that's what you believe. And that's what they tried to do in going after
Well,
this.
they made a comparison between he and Kaepernick. Kaepernick, if you remember, was not in the prime of his career. Colin Kaepernick was one of the woke quarterbacks that was a gimmick in the league. And at his prime, he was just a kind of one of those wildcat formation quarterbacks. He can run really well. He wasn't very accurate. And towards the end, when he kneeled for the flag against the flag, and he wasn't kicked out of the league. He left the league. He chose not to resign because he wanted to be a starter, and they weren't going to make him a starter. So nobody else in the league picked him up again because A, he was not a very good quarterback by the time he left, and B, the circus surrounding what he did, nobody wanted. People can excuse and excused circuses if you're good. They can hide some of the things as a PR team if you're a good player. Harrison is a heck of a superstar kicker for Kansas City. He had the record in Super Bowl for kicks, a 57-yarder. He's a good player in the league. They can excuse some of the things that he says, and he didn't say anything outlandish. Tim Tebow was blasted in the league for praying and kneeling to pray.
Kneeling and praying, yes.
This is what they do.
Which is what they do. And I know, and like I said, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because once again, this is also a non-issue and good for, I want to get a jersey. As I said to Scott Robbins, oh, by the way, shout out to Scott. Scott, if you're listening, I don't know if you're one of the many people that is joining Ryan and I today at the DPB show, but the MVR, Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins have just picked up another market in Florida, right? Was it Florida?
Yeah.
And so kudos to you guys, man. You guys are rocking it. If you get a chance, and you can just Google Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins.
And there he is. Just commented too.
Is he? If you get a chance, go out and listen to these guys.
Oh my God.
They are not only educating us about what's happening, but they're funny and they bring levity to this crazy world that we live in. So if you get a chance, go out, listen to the Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins show. It's well worth your time. Obviously, they go for 3 hours, so you can pick them up and drop off and pick them up again, and you can go out to their website. They do an amazing job, and I'm thankful to watch the success they're having, especially my friend Scott, because I've been with Scott since many years, the days of B&Q. In fact, Scott, I'll tell this since you're here. I ran across a gentleman over in Pekin who used to produce music festivals. His sons are doing it now, and I don't know if you were able to catch last week's show, Scott, but I mentioned your name to him, and he said Scott probably doesn't, he probably wouldn't be very kind to me these days because he kind of has gone in his own direction of being somebody on the right, and this gentleman's obviously not on the right, but he did give me a $20 tip, so I can't complain about that. But go out there. I shout out to Scott and obviously what those guys have been able to accomplish. But that's why it's important, right?
Yep.
Ryan, is that we continue to push the message out there. Scott being somebody, we have a void in Central Illinois. We have a void in American politics for people like Scott and in his group, because they truly are bringing that messaging and making levity of what we know is just the outrageous, the comical, and it's worth it. So about it. Anyhow, but getting back to the pastors, are your pastors out there truly resonating the message to get us through not only today but tomorrow, dealing with the things that we currently are facing in today's economy, today's world, what we're seeing come at? That's where we went when we were going down the Harris Faulkner. How do you say his last name? Faulkner. Did I say it? Yeah.
Buckner. There we go.
Buckner. I said Faulkner. Harris Faulkner. I'm trying to make him the gal on Fox News. Harris
are the churches afraid to speak out about what's happening because of political reasons? Are we seeing some pastors shy away from the current events? I know where I attend, They're not afraid to get into it. Now, is it the subject of their message every week? No, but they're not afraid to get into current things and how it relates to biblical messages. But I've driven by churches, the ones that say BLM, and they got the pride flag in their front yard of their church. There's one in Peoria, I think I drive by. It's a Hope Church. But where are these churches at? In times of need, they're the ones that stand up against some of the ills of society. Where are the ones that are the loudest? Where are they?
Ryan, that brings up a good point. Do you know at the church you attend in Gridley, do you have people with same-sex attractions that attend your church?
I don't know personally, but I'm sure there are.
Wait a minute. You mean they don't wear their badge inside that says that
No,
somebody of
They
same-sex
don't have
attraction?
we do name badges during certain months. And
Do you guys not put your sin? Do you guys not put your sin on your name badges?
No, not at all. Who does that?
So people can just show up at your church without identifying as a transgender, someone that's gay, somebody that's committing adultery, somebody that was stealing, money from a family member or a friend. So people don't actually just come out and name their sin as they're sitting in.
Of course.
Ryan, I have a question. Does anybody that attends your church, have they sinned before?
Oh, I would say every one of us, including the pastors, they have all admitted it. Every one of us are there. We know we're broken. That's why we're there.
They don't name their sins, right?
Right. They don't name it. No.
Okay. I just want to be clear on that, because I can tell you that at the church I attend, we have people who have had same-sex attractions, and they attend our church.
Okay.
Now, as far as I know, I have not seen any stakes put up in the front yard to burn them at the stake. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not practicing that.
Cross, maybe that's what that's for, right?
But then again, this I have to jump back. Isn't it amazing that the people who truly try to crucify others and to put them on the proverbial stake, and light a fire to it, aren't the Christians?
Yeah.
They're the anti-Christians.
Yeah.
That's what we find through persecution. So that's my point is, are your pastors preparing you for today and tomorrow? Because ultimately all of us are sinners, and we all fall short of the glory of God. And it is obviously, as we've said here, and it's through the love of Christ. It is the sacrifice. It's him placing himself on the cross. He was the sacrificial lamb for all of us. He came to take away the sin of the world, meaning plural, all sin. And that is through his body and through his blood, and the sacrifice that we have what we're promised, the blessed assurance, right? It's when we put our trust and faith in him.
Yep.
And so when I bring up the point about pastors and preparing us and preparing the way, I think it's not as much as going along with the identity politics, because I don't believe if you're in a church that's practicing identity politics, I think they're going down the wrong road, which is what your point was, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
You go by a church and they obviously profess and proclaim their identity rather than Jesus.
And there's nothing wrong with come as you are. I mean, that Jesus picked 12 of the most outside people to follow him. So he came up from all walks of life to choose specific people who knew would be persecuted for where they came from. That's the whole idea. We welcome everybody in church. Now, obviously, church as your mission, as your faith, you exclude certain types of people in leadership roles, but you don't exclude everybody that walks through your doors. And that's the message you want to have. But when you openly go against what your faith and what your message is to flaunt the identity politics, that's where you're in the wrong path as a church. It's nothing more simple than that.
I found that I have a mute button.
Yeah.
So I could actually not cough. Boy.
Oh,
and it says right there, mute.
Yeah.
You would have thought by now that I would have been able to catch that. It's kind of like the dump button. Scott knows all about that. But you're right. Spot on, Ryan. And like I said, I'm not going to continue to walk that out. If you're not in a church that is truly growing you and leading and pronouncing the goodness of what we have here on this earth. The American way, there is no other way that's better.
Yep.
Not to be promoting the people of America and to being counter to the people of America. If you're in a church like that and all we're doing is promoting and professing and celebrating things that are inconsistent with the gospels of Jesus Christ, you're in the wrong church.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that it's time to leave. Hey, Ryan, I want to get to this because I know that that we're running up against the clock here.
Yep.
This video, it's a little longer. It comes again from Maze Moore. I want to make sure that we cover this because, and there is a little language in it. So hold on tight because it does have language. Look at that. It's just you on the screen now. Add to stage.
It's fine.
It's you and me. There we go. All right. Here it is. So to set the stage, this gentleman obviously is J.J. Carroll and Mark Carter. They're in Chicago. They're already exposing everything that's going on with the illegal immigration on their little format that they put out there. They do these impromptu drop-ins, but this is what this is. This is literally right on the doorstep of Senator Dick Durbin's Senate office in Chicago. And here we go.
Against me.
And then you curse at me.
Right.
And then you threaten to fight me. This is treason, America. You want to know what the manifestation?
Hold on, I gotta make sure I get it to go from the beginning. Hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
Put on information. I don't ask you shit.
I'm not asking you for a second. I'm gonna please step.
Don't ask me nothing.
I'm gonna ask you to please step out.
Oh what?
I'm gonna ask you to.
Oh what?
Or I'm gonna call the police.
Oh, you call who the fuck you want to call?
I wish you touched me. I wish you touched me.
No, I'm gonna shoot.
I wish you touched me, sir. Can you please step out?
No.
The footage you're about to watch here on the screen was captured by myself and my business partner, J.J. Carroll. We are filming a documentary called What is Treason? Chicago was destination number 2. We wanted to go to the heart of the migration crisis, straight from San Diego, straight to Chicago, so we could show you what treason looks like. This is what we captured.
So this building here, I think it was called the American Club. We had to go and get closer to it. The name of it is on the outside. But this is where they live in this building. They live in this building, and which is right on the side of the federal building, the Dirksen building. You know, we talking the Justice Department is right here, and right across the street is Dick Durbin's office, the U.S. Senator.
He don't care.
So
they live here. How many rooms are in here? Has this been renovated just for that?
Renovated.
Totally renovated just for illegal aliens.
Yes.
Wow.
So the name is on the walls. You can look on the wall to see the name of it.
Drop off and pick up.
American Replacement Center.
Let's see if we can walk in.
What is that name? Oh, the Standard Club.
So you have metal detectors.
Yeah.
You got everything. Beds, cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Private property.
What property is this? Is this for a homeless? No? Oh, I didn't know that. We're not allowed to see it?
You are not allowed to record it here.
Why?
That's called outside.
But why?
You need to speak to someone. Remember
Nah.
Please step out of the building. This is a private, specific building.
How many people
Funded
do
by
you
my
house
tax
here?
dollars, though, right?
I'm not allowed to be.
Funded by my tax dollars, right? We're not asking you for
It's a
information.
private building.
We're not asking you for no information.
I don't care for
We're not asking you shit.
I'm not asking you for a second. Please step.
Don't ask me nothing.
I'm gonna ask you to please step out.
Oh what?
I'm gonna ask you to.
Oh what?
Or I'm gonna call the police
Oh,
for
you
you.
call who the fuck you want to call?
Go ahead. Hey, call the police for me real quick.
Shit.
Yeah.
Call 911.
Fuck you think you talking to? Okay, who you call?
911. Just call 911.
Chump.
We'll walk out. We're leaving. We're leaving. We're
Who the
leaving.
fuck do you want to
We're
call?
leaving.
Thank you, sir, for understanding.
You get what you looking for fucking me. Oh no.
I wish you touched me. I wish you touched me.
No, I'm gonna shoot you.
I wish you touched me, sir. Can you please step out of
No.
Step out of the building. Don't worry. Just call 911. That's fine. That's fine. It's no problem. Hey, you're in a private building. You're in a private.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You're looking at a 12-story minimum, 12-story building.
No. Way tougher than tough.
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Way tougher than tough. Way to keep talking. All you gotta do is keep talking.
Sir.
You know what I mean?
Step on the property, please.
Message is right
I'll show
here.
you.
So
what
here
tough
comes the
got.
skinny.
I'll show you what tough.
It's a
got.
15-story
What you gonna do?
building in
Call
downtown
the police.
Chicago,
That's all you're gonna do.
Mhm.
You know, call the police.
housing
Right, exactly.
illegal aliens,
Stay in your motherfucking place.
illegal immigrants.
They didn't even but walk in
This is-
3
this
steps
is
and they were
America.
already not invited.
This is treason.
So this is what he's saying.
exactly. But see, these guys can walk into our building we
Yeah.
pay for, but we can't.
Yeah.
You want to understand what treason is, America? This is what's called treason, right here. This whole building has been renovated to house illegal aliens.
Yes.
We just came several blocks away from a U.S. citizens sleeping in redundant, torn down tents.
Yep.
You got a 15-story building they renovated. We just walked in behind 2 illegal aliens. They look like they're from Venezuela.
Mhm.
They get to walk in, and then we get accosted and yell at and curse at.
And then they call the police.
They
call the
just
police
walk
and
in
shit.
and get told to leave.
We just walked
Oh, they
in
did.
thinking, well, can I have some of this free shit?
Right.
Can I have some of it? You and I spent $1,000 at Airbnb. Can I stay in one of those rooms for 3 days for free? And you're gonna pay? I can't even walk into a building that I paid for.
Exactly.
That we paid
My
for.
tax dollars pay you to discriminate against me.
And then you
in
curse
America.
at me.
Right.
And then you threaten to fight
Right.
me. This is treason, America. You want to know the manifestation of tens of millions of people coming in our country? Your government hates you. They hate you. They hate you. They hate you.
Definitely.
And they hate this man as a black American and me as a white American, but we stand side by side and we scare the hell out of the power structure.
Mm.
Yeah. That's
What's interesting is the detail there. It's right down the street from Dick Durbin's office and some other federal offices. You know, you think
the
they put it out
DOJ,
in
the
the
Department
out-
of Justice.
Yeah, you think they would put it somewhere else, but to put it right in front of their own backyards.
Well, and this is what I'm saying. This is why I wanted to bring it to light today. Is that video came up on Maze Moore. Once again, if you're not finding them on Twitter /X/Twitter, you need to go out. They have some of the best compilations of videos, just uncovering the truth. 15-story building, bought and paid for by government taxpayers.
Yeah.
Government funded, taxpayer funded. I know how they like to use the words interchangeable, but it's nothing less than taxpayer funded.
Yep.
You bought that building to house people that are in this country illegally, to the sum of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And so, Ryan, and stay with us here because we want to talk about this. What is happening right now? Many of you who are joining us, you're never going to see this come across your Twitter feed or your emails or your text blast, because I think that there is a whole host of people who are getting government handouts that you're never going to see the opportunity to get. You know, my wife and I make light of this as we're riding to and from on Constitution Trail, that we've seen an uptick in electric scooters, electric motorized bikes.
Yeah, kind of defeats the purpose of getting exercise.
Well, it does, but that's a whole nother topic. But but bottom line is was there something sent out like the Obama phones?
Yeah.
And I think they've gotten a little more clever with how they're doing it. The selection process, once again, if we knew that ballots were being collected and harvested and filled out, I mean, we know that to be the case now, that about 1 out of every 5 vote by mail ballots was basically an illegal ballot that was filled out by somebody else. It was submitted by somebody else. But if this is going on in the ballot box, what do you think's going on outside of the ballot box? So my wife is actually chiming in, and I just want to make sure that I got correct. Uptick of electric bikes. They are everywhere. Where was the memo? Well, and that's what, that's the point. who was afforded the opportunity to get an electric scooter, because it is a form of transportation. We know that the Green New Deal is all about replacing combustible engines, whether that be cars or buses or whatever it is, the mode of transportation, and moving to a society that is 15-minute cities where everyone walks to wherever they go, that they utilize renewable resources like electric bikes, which really isn't renewable because they plug them in and the coal driven plants create the electricity that
It's
powers.
unicorn dust. Come on, David. It's magic unicorn dust. That's what powers these. It's not oil. It's not coal.
But the point being, Ryan,
Yeah.
is no different than this building in downtown Chicago. What is going on right before our very eyes that we're not engaging in, that we need to be informed about? This, obviously, hats off to this gentleman who exposed this through a video and continues to do it. This is real. I mean, it's coming to a town near you.
Yeah.
Just like the cicadas, it's and not that I'm comparing illegal immigration with cicadas, but isn't it funny that they're both invasions?
Yeah. It's weird how they classify those two things.
One is naturally produced, or at least that's what we think, it's naturally produced. Who knows? Still, the jury's out. My wife says
Data lab somewhere.
That's right. If they were able to release the coronavirus on us, were they able to release the cicada virus on us? What is actually behind all these schemes? And this is proof positive that we know that you're not allowed access. In fact, the lady that was inside of that building said, this is a private building. No, it's not private. Even if it's funded by a non-governmental organization, an NGO, it's still not a private source. If it's funded by the government, it's not a private source. It's not private property. It's public property. We should have the right to go in there and audit that building. Yes, I understand there is privacy, but once again, this is not a jail.
Yep.
People are here illegally.
Yeah.
What are we doing about it other than handing out millions and billions and even trillions of dollars to fund this Operation Invasion?
The scene reminded me of the poll watchers in Fulton County. They wanted to watch the counting process and the ballot process. They were putting up blinds on the windows and not allowing people to see. What are they hiding? And this is a similar situation with the illegal housing. If you're so concerned, or that it's not a big deal that people are staying here, why are you not allowing the public to know about it? What are you actually doing behind the scenes? Like you said, what is going on that we're not knowing about? Where two people can't walk in and just ask a question? Well, they just literally walked in and people started getting them uncomfortable and they wanted to walked out. They didn't even say 2 words before they were escorted out. I don't understand. If you don't know or don't think it's a bad idea, then what are you hiding?
Marilyn Humphreys says, unprivileged legal U.S. citizens, though these foreign illegal strangers, that's good. And Dick Durbin doesn't care about, even though his office down the street, just Illinois taxpayers' expense, and are protected because they're illegal.
Yeah.
The point being is, how many here we're right in my own community, Ryan, you're aware of this. We have a homeless encampment that has cropped up over the last couple of years right next to the Home Sweet Home mission across the street from Eastview Christian's building. It was the former YMCA.
Yeah.
But we have a homeless population. Where's their building? Yep. Where's their government universal living wage that's been given to them? As far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but it appears that most of those people are naturalized born U.S. citizens, if not born U.S. citizens.
Right.
They're U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
That's going on throughout the entire country. We have Americans living in the streets. And here you have people here illegally being housed, given money, monthly income. And for the sake of what? Operation Invasion. It is strictly one thing, and that is to overcome the entire country.
Yep.
And obviously,
Changing the electorate, the
and
voters.
it's changing the electorate
Yeah.
because ultimately it's based on the census, it's based on counts, it's based on how many congressional districts you have, it's based on a whole host of things, and that's what their end game is.
Well, once they secure the votes, they'll just kind of do away with them like they've done with the Black community and Hispanic community. Once they've garnered their votes, they have no use for you. That's the Democrat Party's way of life. The student loan gimmick with the debt forgiveness, the first time he tried it, he got a whole bunch of people voting for him, and then he figured out that he couldn't do it because the Supreme Court told him he couldn't. So then he's like, "Oh, well, I guess I got elected, didn't care about it. I can't do it." Well, he's still trying to cancel and forgive debt. It's one of those election year gimmicks. Come one, come all. We'll give you whatever. Just vote for us.
Yeah.
Pam
Kuchenmeister says gives them the legal address and then
Yeah.
they can register to vote.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the housing of the 15 stories. It gives them a physical address. Therefore,
Yeah.
and this is one of the buildings that I definitely want to be on the watch. I want to make sure that there's not very many addresses or ballots coming from that building.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that.
Because I'm sure ballots will show up there.
Oh, yeah. But, there was an article, I can't remember where it was, but I read it that Republicans are freaking out over a federal election law that isn't going to be overrun because it's already illegal. You can't vote in elections if you're not from here. So it's not a big deal. They're not doing it. Well, a lot of things were, just coming across the border illegally. They're not doing it. So it's not happening. You're just freaking out over nothing. That's illegal too. Okay.
Well, I think this is obviously something that really shows you, and you can once again find that video on Maze Moore at Maze Moore, MazeMoore on X. Go out there; they've got plenty of good stuff. They're like the Trump War Room has plenty of good videos out there.
Yep.
There's so many opportunities to hear and see what's really not being shown to us, whether it would be on the mainstream media in any means that we hear the conversations on campuses, at universities, high schools, public education, whether that would be on the TV set, whether it's paid per view TV or streaming TV. You're not seeing it. You've got to go out and connect the dots, do the research. As Pam said, it is a ploy to change demographic destiny. It's a replacement theory. This is who they want here because they need more voters. They know they didn't get 81 million votes.
Yep.
They are trying to stack the deck, is the old saying. It's like
They're
a card
hemorrhaging
game.
votes by the other two demographics, so they need to get a third demographic involved.
Well, and they're working hard on it. Hey, Ryan, as I said earlier, this has been an exhausting 2 days. I've been out working in the heat. I'm showing my age at 60. Working out in hot, humid days definitely slows you down. It sucks the life out of you. So that's why I have, right here, I have one
I've done
bottle.
it for a year and a half.
I have 2 bottles. What's that?
I did it for a year and a half in the heat.
Oh,
Summertime.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You sought refuge. So it's exhausting. But I wouldn't miss an opportunity to be here with you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, live from 4 to 5. Yes, on YouTube. Yes, on Rumble. Yes, on X and on Facebook. We are here. Please like and share, subscribe. Ryan Mack Show. Ryan, you got a big show coming up this Sunday.
I have another one. I have Saturday, and I have another one the following Saturday as well coming up.
Okay. Tell the audience a little bit about.
So the first one, Saturday the 25th. I'm working on building the details because on your streaming platforms, you got to wait a couple days out before you can actually build it. So it'll be out there soon. But he's a pastor, and his wife have come to Christ out of the LGBTQ community and sexual brokenness. And they've started a network called Love and Truth Network on restoring people to Christ who have been out of the sexual brokenness. And they give resources to churches and pastors on that fight. So it's a network that they've established, and out of their own experiences with it, they've come to Christ and they're helping others come to Christ as well. So it's
And
gonna be
he
good.
has a book out called Am I Gay?
Am I Gay? Yep. And then the
Am I Gay?
following week, June 1st, I haven't got up with all the details yet, but former congressman from Utah, Rob Bishop, put out a book out. The things I learned in Congress they did not teach in school. He was a teacher for 30 years in Utah, and he was in Congress for 18, almost 20. And so I'm going to have a conversation with him on his new book and what he learned in Congress and what he didn't learn in school.
You know what? I'm going to have to put you in charge of lining up all my guests because you sound like you're getting some amazing guests. Go out there, Ryan. Make sure you put that into the comment section, the Ryan Mack Show on YouTube. Definitely go out there and listen and subscribe to Ryan's channel. As I said, drink a lot of water. Stay hydrated, especially during these days when the heat gets up and the humidity. Watch out for the cicadas. They are coming. Fortunately, so far, we have stayed off their appearance here in McLean County, but I believe they'll probably infiltrate the area sometime and maybe not. I don't know how the whereabouts of cicadas and how they manifest themselves in these communities, but I'll tell you one thing, it is a sight to behold. It is a sight that reminds me of the plagues of the Old Testament during the times of the pharaohs and Moses in Egypt and the fleeing of the Israelites from Egypt. But something to obviously keep an eye on. Well, obviously we're at the end of the show. Thank you, Ryan. As always, I appreciate all of you. Please go out, share with friends, keep them informed, keep connecting the dots. So much out there, so little time. And obviously, I always like latecomers into the show here with the comment. Kevin, yes. Kevin says, I hope Bella is drinking lots of fluids. Bella has not only drank a lot of fluids. That's a good. Thank you for bringing up Bella. Bella's got a new do. Tanya and I decided that in Bella's old age, not to put her under the stress of going to a groomer. So we went out and purchased our own grooming tool. So I will tell you, my attempts at grooming Bella were not near to the quality that my wife has done. So she had to make up for some of my little faux pas, but Bella has a new look, the shorter do. But you know, when you're only spending a little time out of the house every day, Bella requires 64 degrees year round. It doesn't matter the month. Bella wants 64 degrees. She will venture out long enough to lay in the shade outside, as long as you provide her a bowl of ice cubes. And then she's very satisfied for at least a little bit of time. But no, she's she's and my brother Mark, barbecued cicadas. Mark, I'm glad that you chimed in because they won't be serving barbecued cicadas up at the grand reopening of, you got it, you heard it here first. Well, you might have heard it on Facebook before this, but Green Gables is now back open. So go up, you know, do your impression of John Belushi in Saturday Night Live back in the way back years. Cheeseburger, 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 cheeseburger. Go get your cheeseburger at Green Gables. The reason I bring that up is my brother Mark did the mural on the wall there at Green Gables, and it's the historical Green Gables. So they've kind of brought Green Gables back to life after the fire. Now, if you want to see what Green Gables looks like now and what it looked like in the past, there's a mural on their wall that my brother Mark painted. So get up to Green Gables, once again, a landmark here in the central Illinois area, and you can get plenty of cheeseburgers. All right, Ryan, I think we've covered it all. Obviously, no more commenters are coming in. We are up against the top of the hour. I know that sometimes we go over, but I thank you, everyone, for being here with us. We can't do it without you. And you, obviously, others can't do it without you. They depend on you. You guys come here to kind of get some levity and craziness and opinions, and to voice your own opinions. And in turn, there are people that are listening to you. Go out, find those people, have a conversation with them. And as I said earlier, if you really want to get some lively entertainment, go to tune in, go out, look at the website for Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. There is some local broadcasting of them. They'll be tonight on a local radio station right here in Bloomington Normal. That would be the station that I formerly was on, Cities 92.9. They air right after Mark Levin, so they hit the 8 o'clock. They start at 8 and they go until 11. But you can find them elsewhere in WMBD 1470, right? 1470.
1470 a.m. over there in Peoria. Yep.
And they go from 12 noon until 3, or is it 11 to 2? One of the
2 Central Time. Yep.
11 to 2. So definitely go up and pick those guys up because they're doing an amazing job. They're growing their audience, they're growing their markets, and they're just it's good to know. It's good to see Scott and Markley and Van Camp, Robbins, Van Camp, Markley and Van Camp and Robbins having the success they are, but having some connection with Scott here in the local Central Illinois marketplace. It's super cool to see him having the success he's having. So, hey, like I always say, it is good to be here with you, but it's even better to know you're here and you're with us. We love you very much. I love you, but never forget that Jesus loves you more. Until Tuesday, looking forward to it because the show on Tuesday Thursday. Thursday. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. The show on Thursday is kind of just letting you know what's going to walk out through the weekend. I'm sure things are going to happen, but this weekend is the Illinois State Convention for the Republican Party. So the Republican Convention statewide is Friday and Saturday down in Collinsville. If you all would like to participate in that, you can walk up and pay. It's $75, but it's well worth the investment. First and foremost, because that's where we get our walking orders. That's where we as a party come together and decide how we're going to make Illinois red again. It's not going to happen overnight, might not happen by 2030, but it is going to happen. Nothing stays the same, and we can change Illinois for the better. We can restore our state to the land of the Lincoln. Illinois is our home. We can make it our home again. So if you have an opportunity to get down there, but I'll be talking a little bit more about that on Thursday. Like I said, until next time on Thursday, we bid you farewell.